Hey everyone, it's Jamie, and this is video number 2 on our distance learning reboot and reflection. The second one is on better online groups. Okay, and I have some, passion projects in here, so you're going to hear me get excited. But this is stuff, again, this is what can transfer back with you to the classroom when we're in person. So these are some things that I would highly encourage you spending some time on. Okay, so I'm going to go over Campfire Groups, QFT, my favorite thing in the world as a teacher, roles in breakout rooms, pre-made docs, and the concept of come back and share. Okay, so this is a shorter one, but here's the pitch. Okay, Campfire Group. So I want you to think about when you set up your physical classroom, students have seat partners or neighbors, or they're in a table group. We need to recreate that in the digital space. So think about that. What is accomplished by that is they're building trust and they're feeling safe enough. So when you start adding that cognitive load to the work that you're doing, and again, we've probably already added it, they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. What we're hearing from the kids is they get into breakout rooms, they turn their cameras off, they go on the Google Doc, and they get the work done. But they're kind of working independently. And while that's not terrible, and maybe that's an option sometimes, you do want them talking to each other, because we know that's when they're learning. When they're taking what you've taught them, they're processing with each other, they're wrestling with the concepts. We know that that is also a critical part of teaching and learning. So we need to figure out how to recreate that in the breakout rooms. And I want you to not lose hope, because initially the kids really liked them. They talked about how it felt better to kind of be there, and the shy kids could kind of push themselves. But come on, we're going on the end of November and everyone's tired, but we've got to find a way to kind of recharge those. So what I want you to think about is, how can you do some team building in the breakout rooms? And the first one is just make them consistent. Help them be together in a breakout room where they know who's in there. They're gonna know who to trust, who to expect, who's gonna do work. Of course, you're gonna have to shake it up every now and then, but start by building those stable groups, and then do some activities with them so they can build some camaraderie together. So maybe they create a team name as the first step, and then maybe the next week they're creating some sort of logo or team mascot, like whatever. Give them some options there, but let them have a little bit of fun together and get to know each other. The kids are missing each other, and this could be a way you help support them that way. Okay, so that's my pitch for that. And lastly, just, if you had to think about going online and talking to strangers when you were told you had to be there and then your boss wasn't looking, how engaged would you be? So just remember that, and have a little bit of kind of compassion, and find ways to just, give them some chances there to be successful. Okay, so that's Campfire Groups. Again, just building those teams so that when they're in breakout rooms, they're able to work together. Okay, once you have your Campfire Groups made, this is the thing that I think is going to be so transformative for your classrooms. I'm not joking. This is world changing, and it gives kids a superpower. And for you, it is going to save you so much time. I want you to think about how right now you are the person in charge for creating everything for your learning space. You are creating the conditions for the kids to be successful. You are trying to manage kids not being there. You're creating new assessments. You're creating new experiences. You're doing everything in your power to kind of entertain and engage and get these kids learning. And if there was one big part of that I could take away from you that would change everything, it would be this. The other part that you're also in charge of is creating all of the questions. You are doing the heaviest lift cognitively in your class right now, and it doesn't have to be that way. You can teach the kids to become question masters and also engage each other by developing really awesome questions. And again, it will take a lot of the pressure off you. The end goal of this is the kids could actually be writing their own essay questions. They could be writing their own quiz questions. And in the age when we're so worried about academic honesty, what better way for kids to show you that they know the material because they asked a really amazing question? Think about that for a second. You are the master of your content and your subject, and you are able to write amazing quiz questions and essay questions because you know the material so well. So what does that tell you if your kids are able to do that same thing? Okay, that's my pitch. Here's what you're going to learn. The QFT, the question formulation technique, is amazing. I read the book. I've been to conference sessions on it. I've taught it in a lot of grade levels now, and it is so cool. And what you're going to hear the kids say at the end of it is, "Oh my gosh, that was really hard." but I kind of liked it because they are so empowered and it forces them to think differently. They're programmed for yes or no answers. They're programmed to wait for you to ask the question. They have all these tactics of how not to answer you unless they have to. Time to shift that. Okay, so here's what you're going to learn. If you click on this, it's going to take you to this website that tells you all about it. It's just a protocol. So that's what I want to show you really quickly. And not my fear of cybersecurity problems right now. That's what I'm also working on. Let me go to this. Okay, the QFT, question formulation technique. Here's the whole strategy, super easy. You give them something super engaging and something to contemplate, something that they have to really wrestle with. It could be an image, it could be a quote, it could be the start of a new unit for you, whatever it is. For 12th grade or 11th grade in Ben's class, I remember my kind of catchy thing for them was all men are created equal. There's so much to unpack with that. So again, you find something that is just something they're going to wrestle with, whatever it is. And the website has tons of samples. For science, you could totally do this by giving them something that, kind of inspires or engages or is surprising, whatever that is. So then there are rules. The kids start producing the questions. Here are the rules for that. They have to ask as many questions as they can. They can't stop to judge each other or discuss. They can't answer the questions. They have to record it exactly how it's written. And then anything that came across as a statement, they write into questions. So immediately think about your campfire groups. You give them some crazy topic, they get into their groups and they just start generating questions. That's all they do. And then you give them like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 in the beginning, but it's quick. Then you have to make your questions better. And how they do that is you teach them quickly about closed-ended questions, open-ended questions. And this is where their superpower comes in. Once you learn these types of questions, you can control conversations. You can tell the kids that this is how you either engage with people around you and, come across as very, very smart because you're asking questions that gets people to kind of talk, or you can kind of shut down conversations because you ask yes or no questions and the conversation goes nowhere. Like they can control that. And once they see that, it's kind of fun for them. So they practice. First, they label everything closed or open, and then you practice changing them back and forth. Again, this is so difficult. If you have a factual question to try to change it into open-ended, really good work for the kids to do. Then this part, they prioritize their questions. Which ones do they like the most? Which ones do they feel most connected to? And then this is where, again, your role kind of comes back into play here. What are they going to do with the questions that they generated? And that's where you can kind of come up with all different ways for the next steps. This could be kind of guides like how class goes. It could be that this is something they're going to research, whatever that is, like whatever they're going to do with their questions, and then share. And then the last part is a reflection. Like, what did they learn about themselves in this process? So that's it to the QFT. It is so powerful and it can work in all grade levels. They have resources for K-12 on this. But again, my plea to you is this will dramatically change how kids can kind of engage with you in class because they are going to learn how to ask questions, and it's going to take so much stress and work off of your plate. So I challenge you to try this. If you want me to come in and be guest teacher and do this with you and your kids, I'd be happy to do it. But give it a check it out, and I have links for you. So this link is my lesson plan that goes over, I have an 8th grade one and a 12th grade one on there, but then there's also the Institute's resource doc and slide deck. If you go to their website, they have videos. You can watch it in 5 minutes and learn everything you need to try this out. And my last tip for this is start small. Do something super fun, super engaging so they learn the process. Then you can keep doing this. This can become a classroom routine. You can launch every new unit with this. You can close units. You can prep for a quiz or a test, whatever it is. This is a really great strategy, again, to get the kids thinking and to really show you what they know. I think it's awesome. Okay, that's QFT. And then roles and breakout rooms. This one's super easy. You probably know this and maybe just didn't apply to distance learning, or you already have. You might have some really good ideas. Please message me back and tell me if you have different jobs, but these are the ones that I learned from the Stanford teachers and just some of my own ideas. Okay, so when we're in the breakout rooms, do the kids have roles? So this is my idea. One person's kind of recording the main ideas. One person is like in charge of keeping time. One person is keeping everybody on track. That's your manager. And then one person's going to report back when the breakout room closes. That's a really easy way, kind of low stress way to get started. Of course, you'll probably have docs that they're all typing on. But again, make sure one person knows that they want to record everything. One person is keeping time so they know when everything is over. And when you put time limits on it, again, it's harder to get distracted because you've got to get the work done before time's up. So the tech council kids told me that time is a really good thing for you to use when you're doing your assessments or your breakout rooms. So that helps them stay focused. Okay. And that's roles and breakout rooms. And then next to, this came from the Stanford team also. They talked about how it's really great to have a pre-made doc for breakout rooms. They know this takes more time, and that's not always easy to do. Sometimes you just tell the kids, get into a room, share a doc, do the work. But having it pre-made can really help the kids stay on track and engage. So I have 2 to show you that I've used with students in breakout rooms. The first one is about the tech council. We were working on problem solving. And so this was a doc that we made for the breakout rooms because the tech council is thinking about topics that they want to fix at our schools right now. They want to how do we, interestingly enough, the topics that they picked, improving student and teacher relationships, expanding the use of tech tools that teachers are relying on, and also thinking about how technology and coding might be another way to impact this. Sorry, plane flying over, I'll pause. All right. Okay, so here's the document that I made. And so this was for the tech council. So they had to put in everybody's names, what project they're working on, how are they going to meet, what problem they plan on solving. And then again, it was really clear, here's the outline, start getting your project put into little tasks. What's your solution? How are you going to deliver it? And then I also added this brainstorm box. So this is where they were going to kind of take all their notes once they formulated the logistics here. Another one that we have for you, and this came from the intern team, is we were thinking about what's a way that we can help groups collaborate. And again, we need to teach some of these skills explicitly. So this was the doc that the intern team came up with, and this was for group projects. So we wanted, again, make a team name. How are you going to be meeting? So post your links here. When are you going to be meeting? What are the objectives at each of the meetings? What do you have to get done at each meeting? So again, this was trying to help them be super productive, and then assigning roles. So in all the groups, who's in charge of what's their phone number, their email address, and then what are some links or anything else related to the assignment that they need. So these are just 2 examples of pre-made docs that I have for breakout rooms. You can do, so many different things. It can be simple, complex. You could come up with some sample templates that you use over and over again. That's another idea, but that's there for you. And then lastly, this concept of come back and share. So when you build in and expected and anticipated accountability related to the breakout room, that's going to keep kids on task and focused and get the work done that you're expecting. Again, it doesn't have to be more than a 30 or 60-second share out per group. And if you have a role in your breakout rooms, they're ready to go. And one other idea is maybe you don't call in every single group every time. That's the concept of just keeping the kids on their toes. So they're just, we don't want them to be surprised all the time, but I think there is that good kind of nervous tension of, is it going to be my turn or not? That may not be a bad thing. Okay, so those are my 5 tips for you. So just recapping, campfire groups, the QFT, roles in breakout rooms, pre-made docs for breakouts, and the concept of come back and share. If you have any questions or want to hear more about these topics, please send me a note and I'd be happy to send you some more info, meet with you, or come to your classroom. Thanks so much.